a big surprise to many. I personally was surprised with how long they played well. But Joey, what was your biggest surprise from Week 16?
My biggest surprise was the Giants somehow managing to escape
The culture
what you
win.
guys have, the culture win. Yeah, I thought the culture win was there for the taking this week. And especially seeing when nine got knocked out of this game, I was like, this is it. This is the week it happens.
Yeah.
And somehow you guys managed to escape that. So credit to the Giants for finding a way to not screw that up.
Yep. And
But
the
that
Raiders
that
looked
begs
pretty
the
good
question.
too. Yeah.
What's that?
The Raiders looked pretty good too this week versus Houston.
They did.
Yeah, no,
Bro,
That
they
begs
got
Genty was a
Scott,
monster.
yeah.
yeah, Scott, you asked us this before we started about what would you do if the Giants had a number one pick, or would you trade Jaxson Dart? Do you keep Jaxson Dart, trade the pick? I wanted to ask you right here, right now, what would you do?
I
After pretty much a full year of Dart, where do you stand with him?
Where do I stand with him and what would I do? So, where I stand with Jackson Dart is I really only have a concern based on his rookie season about his mindset about taking hits is definitely something where it's like, okay, like it's something that people admire to a degree, but realistically, you can't do that forever. You can't treat every play like it's fourth down for the Super Bowl. It's just, you just can't. You need to do what Eli did and save that kind of stuff for the playoffs, which he was famous for, which is why he was always good when it matters because he would take every possible risk there was. Now, from what we've seen from him, I do feel that the mobility is special. I think it's really hard to coach that. And when that gets us to the conversation of Mendoza, Mendoza is definitely a better passer coming out. He's bigger and taller, so throws over the middle of the field. You know,
NFL size.
NFL size for those throws. That should be very comfortable for him to develop to a high level at. The thing is, to me, is he reminds me of someone who's going to pan out like a Goff or a Matt Ryan. That's like kind of
A
like
winner.
his ceiling, which is a great quarterback that you can win with. But I would rather have the play extension and also not take another
Not
risk.
Madden.
When you trade Jackson Dart and draft Mendoza, hypothetically, you are comparing that to keeping Dart and trading the first overall pick. And what you do in those two situations is when you keep Dart, you have a proven asset and unproven draft picks. When you trade
Proven.
and you draft Mendoza, you are taking a risk on him because you have not seen him play not on Indiana. Okay. And the draft picks are also kind of equated to trading the first overall pick. So you don't know what those are going to be either. You got to put your trust in Joe Shane, or whoever the next GM is, to flesh out the team with those picks, but you have them in both situations. I'm going to assume they're a relatively similar amount. But yeah. Ultimately, like I just when you question the whole idea of proven, I think you're extracting that from the fact that the Giants have 2 wins. And I think it's such a sorry way to look at it and evaluate a rookie quarterback because first of all, he's a rookie. He wasn't even supposed to start this year, and look how much like we've seen from him and what we have seen from him in the great moments he has had when the team has shown up for him, the wide receivers, the offensive line, the defense not choking the game. What we've seen is that he's a confident leader who can use his arm and his legs. And I feel like that is, the things you want to see from a quarterback. And to be honest, I think there was something in the offseason to kind of project this kind of exceeding expectations for him, and it was that success predictor by that fantasy football like analyst where Jackson Dart graded out as like to be the most successful along with like Mahomes, Lamar, Jalen Hurts in terms of like fantasy. And look, that turned out to be correct, but in terms of winning, that's up to the Giants. It's not just up to him. So I would definitely keep Dart.
Well, speaking of Dart, let's talk about today's game. Giants lost 16-13. You're talking about how the Giants like to collapse and it's not Dart's fault, but really to me, your defense kept you in this game today.
I think
Getting
I
up six,
said that actually in the last podcast that it was going to be a game like defensively as hell.
yeah, it was 16-13. Your defense did everything they could to win this game, but Dart, he was 7 of 13 today for 33 passing yards and an interception. His QBR was 27.4. I can't imagine a much worse start than
I
that.
scored higher than that
Well,
on my
what you're not
differential
going to
equation
see
exam.
is the drops from the wide receivers, and this is something where we got Wandale 3 for 19, Slayton 1 for 8. I'm pretty sure he had like 2 drops on the day, and then
32
also
passing
Brian
yards.
Flores defense versus Jaxson Dart. He's been able to kind of operate an offense versus like most defenses, but this Vikings team, they've definitely dialed things in over the past couple weeks, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And I'm not like encouraged in any way possible by this, but I do feel like the Giants as a team have given up, and that's what it looked like today. And I think it's hysterical that you're going to sit here and go, the defense showed up for him today. Like they haven't lost
They
him
did.
the other 12 games that they played this season. Like,
Yeah,
what are
but
we
does that
saying
matter
here?
though? If they showed up today, then
Yeah, we're
Dart
talking
In
about
gonna
today.
have
in terms of talking about today, he did not have a good game, but neither did the entire offense as a whole. And you need to account for that. That this is the
Tyron
worst
Tracy
team
had a
in
good day.
football right now.
Tracy and Singletary had a good day, combining for 125 yards on the ground. Dart himself, though, 33 yards. Pretty despicable, if you ask me. When
Yeah.
it comes to this conversation, I kind of think, would you be able to stomach, like, if you say you do roll with Dart and it doesn't pan out and you trade Mendoza, he becomes an all-pro quarterback somewhere else? How would you feel about that?
Well, it depends on what team he goes to. He could get drafted by a much better team. And that's the thing you got to remember here is if you trade away Dart and he goes to a better team, I wouldn't be, that's the last thing I want to stomach in the possibilities here. The worst thing that can happen is you have it on you, the asset that is going to be the all pro, and you trade that away.
You could
That's
have
the
the ticket to the
stupidest
asset.
looking thing you can do
You
is
could
to
have the
trade that
ticket
away.
to the asset.
Huh?
Saquon.
Danny, what do you think of this whole Dart first-round pick dilemma we're facing right now?
I mean, I can see where Scott's coming from, because in reality, right, the Giants have done it once. You had Saquon, you had Daniel Jones. You said, I'm gonna pay Daniel Jones. We're gonna get rid of Saquon, and then the Giants became an absolute meme for about a year.
Yeah, I mean
And
for a decade.
yeah, probably it's gonna be for a hot minute. And now what was it? That whole what was it? Joe Shane, right? That's your GM.
Yep.
That the whole dilemma with his 2-year-old daughter picking out better quarterbacks
It
than
was his teenage
quarterbacks.
son.
Well, yeah, but his daughter was behind him too. That they were asking.
Yeah, but
like,
his son said you should draft Jaden Daniels. You only get one opportunity at this job.
Yeah. So overall, long story short, it was
Looks like
like
that was a wrong idea because Jane Daniels, couldn't imagine that mess.
But long story short, like the Giants have already done it once, so you can't really be a franchise that does it twice, I guess. But do I think Mendoza, like to me, right? What I've noticed, like Mendoza, I think in New York with Neighbors, Bellinger, Wandale,
Yeah.
like Scatterboo, like I would enjoy to see what that would look like. The reason why I say Dart and him work out so well is because they're basically the same person. You have that kind of chemistry with your running back and quarterback. But overall, like, would you rather have like, oh my God, they're best friends, or would you rather have like a quarterback that I mean, I'm not gonna say like Dart's not like worth his salt because we said it earlier before we started the podcast. Oh, how can you prove yourself on a team who's got the first overall pick? Um, it's like how can you prove anything? You know what I mean? For those teams, like both teams in New York, really, the Jets or the Giants, how do you really like show up and show out? I think any flashy play you do shows that oh my God, he's a high quality player. But until the franchise itself stops investing so much into their defense and more into their O line, it's like what are you gonna do? Just get Mendoza hurt? I feel like Mendoza going there is going to hinder his
Mendoza.
ceiling. Like it's gonna hinder his ceiling. It's like if Dart's there, we already are saying it right now. We don't know how far Dart's gonna go. And personally, I think
I am not
too hot.
saying that.
No, I'm saying me and Joey.
I know, yeah. That's right.
Yeah. But Joey and I, we don't know where Dart's gonna go. And like, mind you, he has those games where he sparks. But for example, the games that his defense shows up like today, you got to ball out. He did.
He said being an average quarterback
Hey,
today. That's all he had to do.
he has no wide receiver help, no weapon help. I get the run game was there, but if the pass game isn't there, he's not going to have a good day. I mean,
How
it's
does your
that
whole
simple.
passing game fall apart because one guy's hurt? It shouldn't work that way.
And that's not Jaxson Dart's issue. It's
You
not.
guys play.
It's
How much does
it's the
Slate make
Giants'
a year?
issue. This is something
How
we've
much does
seen.
Slate make a year?
And what did we see? What did we see when Daniel Jones left the Giants? Why don't you all tell me? Did he not look much better on a team like the Colts that has not even like a top 2 or a top 10 wide receiving like group? They have Michael
He got away
Pittman,
from Brian
Downs.
Davis.
He got away from the Giants. So if you can actually acknowledge that Dart is dealing with one of the worst situations in the league, like Cam Ward at this point, he had a much better team early on in the season, but that lasted all of like 1/4 of his entire season. So when you look at it with that perspective, like I'm looking at this and going, this is a really bad game, yes, but this is also like his first really bad game, I would say.
I would say this has been a really bad season, but that's just me.
For the Giants, it has been. It's been a great season for Jaxson Dart. He's put us in
You had
position to
them
win
what?
many times.
You said they could win 7 or 8 games this year, so I don't really understand how now we're saying this is the worst team in football.
Well, they were
Okay,
in
no.
position to win those 7 or 8 games, but the reason they're the worst is because they can't close and finish those games, and it's typically the defense allowing a touchdown in the worst possible times or allowing a team to cross the 50 and kick a field goal like the Cowboys game, the Broncos game twice. Like, it's just however you want to cut it. The Lions with Gibbs, the overtime touchdown, like the Giants defense has been the issue all year. And I understand this is a bad game, but like clearly they've given up and it's taken until now for him to have a game like this. So
So you're saying the Giants defense? Who are you pointing at
who am I
as far as
pointing
the
at
issue?
as the
I'm
Because
issue?
right, the reason why
There
I say
was
that, the
no
reason why I say
issue
that,
today, but
no, but I'm saying like who are you pointing at genuinely, right? Because
yeah.
as far
Who
as
do
your
you
D
think?
line, you have Dexter Lawrence, Thibodeau, Burns, and Abdul Carter. I'm
Right.
sorry, if anybody else had
Carter's
that kind
ass.
of D line,
Every Carter
they
is ass.
It's
they would literally.
it's literally everything outside of them in the front seven is an issue right now. So our 3 tech Darius Alexander has just kind of like started recording like sacks and kind of playing more for the Giants. So we can kind of see with him, but it's just like the way his rookie year has been. I'm not convinced that's an answer so far. He was a 3rd round pick, but we'll just have to see. Like I still think he would be a great number 3 defensive tackle, and open up the chance for us to do like more run defense, 5-man fronts and stuff. But then it's outside of him, you have the 2 linebackers, Bobby Okereke and Micah McFadden. When they're both on the field, they are like serviceable. They're like not like a glaring issue, but McFadden went down early, and Bobby Okereke seemed like he really got demoralized this year because he doesn't look that good either. And then the level behind that, Tyler Nubin, his run defense has been much worse this year, along with Banks. His run defense when he's playing has been awful. Javon Holland hasn't been Xavier McKinney, not even close.
You
But
guys paid him big money, though.
we paid him less money than McKinney. We paid
Clearly,
him
that was a
like
mistake.
$2
I'd rather
million
pay
less.
McKinney.
Yeah, I mean hindsight's 2020, but the Giants are a terrible team, and he had a pick six
Yes,
that got
sure.
called back today because Abdul Carter was offsides. Even though he had a decent game, that was pretty hideous.
Think Abdul Carter should get traded?
No, I don't. I think that's stupid. I think you would trade
I think
Kayvon
he's horrible,
Thibodeau.
not a good football player.
Yeah, well, he's 21 years old, so he's got 2 years before he's the same age as some guys who are coming out, and he's obviously an immense talent, and he's on a terrible team too. He's one of the guys I would look at and kind of compare to how I'm talking about Dart. But to finish off what I was saying, it was just the run defense from that combination of, and even the corners outside of Banks aren't great run defenders besides Drew Phillips. So everyone you named and Drew Phillips are like not bad against the run, and Javon Holland, but the rest is an issue when it comes to that, and we still need an elite corner. We don't have one. I kind of believe Tyler Nubin can be like better with some time. Dane Belton seems kind of like comparable
Well,
to him,
Banks.
but Banks we got
No
to get
more
rid of
Giants
him.
to move on.
But yeah, that's enough about the Giants and Jaxson Dart and whether or not the Giants should trade him or trade the first
I would
overall
trade him.
pick. I know.